Yeah.
Please go ahead.
In accordance with orders 53E and K and 68(2) of the standing orders, I rise to move that the bill entitled Animal Health Bill 2020 be committed to the Joint Committee on Agriculture and Health. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Woodley. Any seconder, Honorable Members? Member for Fonyi Bintang.
Thank you. Seconded the motion.
Thank you. Honorable Members, it has been moved and seconded that the bill entitled Animal Health Bill 2020 be committed to the Joint Committee on Agriculture and Rural Development and Health. Those in favor, please say aye. Not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it.
Motion.
The said bill is therefore hereby committed to the Joint Committee of Agriculture and Rural Development and Health.
Motion.
Member for Central Badibu, may we hear you?
Honorable Speaker, in accordance with Order 53K, EK, and 68(2) of the standing orders, I rise to move that the bill entitled the Gambia Public Buildings and Facilities Authority Bill 2022 be committed to the Select Committee on Monitoring of Government Projects.
Honorable members, any seconder to that motion? Honorable Member for Lower Salu.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I rise to second the motion.
Honorable members, it has been moved and seconded that the bill entitled the Gambia Public Buildings and Facilities Authority Bill 2022 be committed to the Select Committee on Monitoring of Government Projects. Those in favor, please say aye. Not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. The bill is hereby committed to the said committee for scrutiny and report back. Clerk.
Motion, Honorable Speaker.
Yeah, sorry. Honorable Member for Upper Salum.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I'm rising on the Order 53K for a motion to present a resolution that was derived from the recommendations of the FPAC report that was submitted this plenary a few days ago. So I rise to present the resolution with your permission on the Order 53.
Please go ahead.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Consider the recommendations of the consolidated report of the Finance and Public Accounts Committee, FPAC, for the period 2016 to 2019 on the government and its various agencies' audited accounts. Recognizing the good work of the Finance and the Public Accounts Committee of the immediately preceding legislature, that is the 5th legislature, and the Auditor General, applauding the Finance and Public Accounts Committee of the current legislature, that is the 6th legislature, in carrying over unfinished business of the previous committee. Cognizant of the provisions of the 1997 Constitution of the Gambia, the Public Finance Act of 2014, and the Finance Regulation of 2016, now therefore resolved. 1. That all outstanding interest be retired by October 31st, 2022. Number 2, that all unreconciled government transactions indicated in the audited accounts be reconciled by the Accountant General before the end of the financial year 2022 and a report sent to the FPAC. Number 3, that the government, through the Ministry of Finance and Economic Affairs, endeavors to table before the Assembly a revised public finance bill and a revision of the Financial Regulation 2016 before the end of the financial year 2022. Number 4, that the Auditor General consider invoking his power under Section 160, subsection 5 of the Constitution, where discrepancies of a criminal or fraudulent nature are discovered during any audit. Number 5, that the Auditor General report to the National Assembly and to the Inspector General of Police all cases of potential fraudulent activities within 30 days of detecting them. Number 6, that the Auditor General and the Accountant General provide to the National Assembly a list of all people that have been found to commit fraudulent activities in all sectors and give the latest update on their prosecution or repayments. Number 7, that the Accountant General resolve all prior year closing balances and current year opening balances of the government with respect to loans and grants be consolidated before the end of this financial year. Number 8, that the Ministry of Finance and Economic Affairs must be part of any grant negotiations and be the recipient of all grants for and on behalf of the government. Number 9, that all government projects shall use the IFMES system for all the accounting processes by the end of this financial year 2022. Number 10, that any existing revenue collections by third parties shall be handed over to the Accountant General within 90 days. Number 11, that the Auditor General commission an audit of all state-owned enterprises by the end of financial year 2022 and reports submitted to the FPAC, dated 29th day of September 2022.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member. Honorable Member, any seconder? Honorable Member for 𝒂𝒐𝒊𝒏.
Honorable Speaker, I rise to second the motion. Thank you.
Yes, Honorable Member Woolley.
Just clarification before we move on. Number 8, the second page, why you said that the Ministry of Finance, is it the Ministry of Finance or is the Minister of Finance? Which one do we want to adopt? The Ministry. The Ministry of Finance and Economy must be part of any grant negotiation, not the Minister. Okay, all right.
Honorable members, I think what we will do after the motion is seconded, you can look at it, and then if you want amendments on it, it's a proposed resolution. But let's have it seconded by the Honorable Member for 𝒂𝒐𝒊𝒏. She did already. So, Honorable Members, before I put the question, any comments on the resolution, you can, Honorable Member.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I have an observation to Resolution 1, that all outstanding interest to be retired by October 31st, 2022. 2022. Am I right?
Honorable, address your question to.
Yes, I think we need to add in failure IGP to take necessary steps.
Honorable Member, I think that's captured in the subsiding district.
No, it's a different one. It's different.
The Auditor General and the Accountant General provide a list of all people that have been found to commit fraudulent activities in all sectors and give the latest update on their prosecution or repayments. And that the Auditor General report to the National Assembly and to the Inspector General of Police all cases of a criminal or fraudulent nature are discovered. Where is it? 5. Fraudulent activities within 30 days of detecting them. So I think it is captured. And I think if you remember the debate yesterday, members were talking about the list of those defaulters, those who had the impress. And I think it has been circulated to members. We must thank the PAC for providing us that list. Any? Yes, member for Woolly East.
Number 1, the only thing I want to change there is just to put an S on the impress. Instead of impress, we put impress, because we are not referring to only one impress in writing. And then number 3, I think it's financial regulations instead of financial regulation, right?
Number 3.
Number 3, financial regulations. Financial regulations. We put S there, 2016.
Financial regulations.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah, Honorable Nominated Member Kewalang Fofana.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. And to start with, I would commend the Vice Chair of the Finance and Public Accounts Committee, the Honorable Member for Upper Salem, for really doing the needful. This resolution was derived from the consolidated account, and it is in response to a request that was done by the whole House. And looking at the resolution itself, it's really fit for purpose. The only contribution I want to make will be in regards to two things. One is the addendum that was brought to the attention of the whole House. So I would like the honorable member to help us to know whether the resolution have really captured all the discrepancies and some of the audit queries that were highlighted in that addendum. And the other thing will be in relation to number 4, and I will read. It states that the Auditor General considered invoking his power under Section 160, subsection 5 of the Constitution, where discrepancies of a criminal or fraudulent nature are discovered during an audit. This is exactly what is provided for in the 1997 Constitution. So the question now is, and I will read the Section 165 of the 1997 Constitution.
Honorable Member, we are not encouraging a debate on it.
No,
we are just making proposals for amendments to the resolution.
And that's exactly what I would do.
No, you are doing. Just come out with your proposal, and because if you encourage it, people are going to do the same thing.
Okay, what I want to say is, what the provision number 5 of the resolution is stating is exactly what is obtained in the Constitution. But the Auditor General was not doing it.
Honorable Member, that's what we are saying. We are not looking at whether it has been done or not. What we are looking at is the proposal from you people, and you are now saying that the Auditor General should be doing A, B, and C.
Honorable Speaker,
if you have an objection to that, you can say no, he should not be doing that or should be doing this other one.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. My point is, the Constitution is supreme. If at all the Auditor General was not operating under the dictates of the Constitution, what guarantee do we have that he would do it without punitive measures? I'm saying we should go the extra mile.
Honorable Member, please. We are not looking into the activities of the Auditor General prior to today. We have done that. You can bring that in another debate. Now there is a resolution before you. That resolution, if you are in agreement, we leave it as it is. Or you propose amendments to it.
Okay, then, Honorable Speaker, I would propose that instead of Section 5, we come up with an implementation plan with regards to Section 160, subsection 5 of the Gambia Constitution, to enable the Auditor General to perform his functions in accordance with the dictates of the Constitution. Thank you.
Honorable Member, I think your fears are guaranteed. Anything in the Constitution supersedes every other thing. Whatever we may come by here, the Constitution writes higher than us. All what we need to do is to enforce that the Constitution, what the Constitution requires is done. And those are some of your responsibilities. So what we are now saying is, whether he has been doing it or not, Parliament is now requesting him to do this particular one. If he does not do it, you know what you should do. Member for Upper Salem.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I understand what the member is saying, but we must also be very careful for the mere fact that in the same section that he is quoting, on number 7, is saying, in the exercise of his functions under this Constitution or any other law, the Auditor General shall not be subject to the direction or control of any other person or authority. And that's why we are very careful and put it the way we put it. Because he's not under the control of the Parliament or the Executive. That's why we put it the way we put it. Yeah.
Well, Honorable Member, yes, that's true. But in violation of his own mandate, he will be subject to something. Honorable Member.
Yes, I also try to go for on the resolution 5, where if the IG fails to do so, maybe the committee also can take further. Section by the Constitution of Section 109, subsection 2, and again the resolution also to be connected to the office of the Vice President, but because of he is there to represent government's business in the Parliament, and the Attorney General also to work hand in close to see that these resolutions are.
Honorable Member, I'm not getting you. Can you say it again?
Yeah, what I'm saying here is, if the IG is failed to do so on the resolutions here, now I'll also bring back to the member for Upper Salem also to act on Section 109, subsection 2 of the Constitution. Regarding the Vice President also is governed by the government business in the Parliament, to be sent the resolutions to act on in a door close of the Attorney General, the Minister of Attorney General, to also to be in a connection to see that these resolutions are been worked out close door with the office of the Vice President. Thank you.
Honorable members, we are preparing our own resolutions, and let's not preempt it. We cannot say whether somebody is not going to do it or is not going to do it. If somebody does not do it, there are guidelines that Parliament has, there are powers that Parliament has that would ensure that will be followed. So, but we will not be anticipating that people would not do it. So the essence here actually is the honorable member who presented the resolution, 𝒂𝒄𝒄𝒏, was informed by your debate and your request, and he prepared this on your behalf. Are we satisfied with it? Are there others that we should delete? Are there some that you think we should put in? Is where we are now, not to debate.
Observation.
If you are satisfied, then I'll put the question. If you are not satisfied, you want additions or deletions, let's have those ones. I don't want people to go beyond that. Yes, who was honorable member for?
Observation.
Joshua, is it Joshua? Yes?
The one observing is not nominated member. I give me the floor or the one observing.
Are you
the one
observing something?
is not me. I give me the floor or the one observing that you are referring to. No. Somebody was observing and then he called the name.
Honorable member, I said honorable member for Joshua. Why do you ask questions?
No. I didn't ask. Somebody was observing.
No, you are not talking to that person. You are talking to the speaker.
Sorry, sir. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. On point 1, at all outstanding impress be retired by October 31st, 2022. We are already in September of this year, and the time bound before notifying them to date. Hope it will be, why don't we look at that date first? Because it's a resolution that we are trying to pass now, and if it is passed here, it's going to come into force. So why don't we look at the time bound? 31st of October might be very short. Because we said some of them are not around, some are not seen. For those not around.
Member for 𝒂𝒄𝒄𝒏.
No, I haven't completed mine. I'm still coming up.
Member for Joshua, are you ready?
No.
Go ahead.
On number 9, that on all government projects, are we only stopping on government projects, only on government projects without the IFMIS system? Because most of these municipalities are also on government projects. Are they using them, or if at all? No, some of them are not using them. No, they are not independent. They are also answerable to us. They are answerable to us. Some of these municipalities are answerable to us.
Honorable member, you put your this thing. Don't argue.
Sorry.
Put your suggestion.
So my suggestion is we include the municipalities there.
𝒂𝒄𝒄𝒏.
Yes. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. The issue of number 1 for October, that is end of next month. I think the way it is, I think it should be okay. Because if you look at some of them, they have not retired since 2007. So you already have 15, 16 years, you have not retired. Why would we want to give you another 60 days to do so? So for me, I think that should be okay. And the second part, which is the IFMIS for the local governments, we've been told by the Attorney General that is also in process, that they want to add all of them in it, just like they want to do the same thing with the embassies across the world. So that's already in their pipeline, and they want to add everybody that is part of government to the IFME system.
Yeah, and honorable members, let's remember that the resolution, as I told you earlier, was born out of something. Parliament wants all government projects to be part of the IFMIS, following a debate and some of the comments made from the Auditor General's presentation, the Minister's presentation. You can remember it. That was why this particular issue for government projects was captured by the honorable member for 𝒂𝒏. The issue of other institutions coming in will be gradual. Honorable member for 𝒂𝒄𝒄𝒏𝒄𝒂𝒏𝒄𝒂𝒏.
Observation, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Speaker, I'm looking at Resolution 9. Resolution 9, which reads, all government projects, Resolution 10, sorry for that, that any existing revenue collection by third parties shall be handed over to the Accountant General within 90 days. So within 90 days, I'm looking at it, is this the suggestion of the committee, or this is within the dictates of the Public Finance Act, so that we can be clear about it. And the last one is the list of names under the impressed. And in correspondence, we have the amount of monies in dollars. Is this the updated version, or some of these impressed were retired? Thank you very much.
Honorable member for 𝒂𝒏.
Yes, thank you, Honorable Speaker. The 90 days is a suggestion from us, because we are aware, based on the Public Finance Act 2014, that the authority to collect government revenue rests in the hands of the Accountant General. So right now we are also aware that there are third parties doing the collections, which we believe that is not correct. So we want to give them 90 days because we do not know what kind of contractual agreements they have with those third parties, and just to ensure that there are no litigational issues as long as those things are concerned, and that's why we say 90 days. Because most contracts, you will say, if you want to breach, you inform the other party 30 to 60 days or 90 days. So that's why we make a suggestion for 90 days.
Probably, Honorable, if the Accountant General decides to authorize an institution to collect on his behalf. But as he said, all collections, revenue collection for this thing is the purview of the Accountant General.
Observation,
Honorable Speaker, 𝒂𝒄𝒄𝒏.
Who?
𝒂𝒄𝒄𝒏.
𝒂𝒄𝒄𝒏, yes, go ahead.
Good. The 90 days I'm looking at, those, if the Constitution allows the Attorney General to delegate authorities to collect on their behalf, I think, so submission of those monies that are collected on behalf of the Attorney Generals, there should also be a description to say within the period they should submit to the Attorney General. I don't know if that is in the provision.
Accountant General or Attorney General?
Sorry, Accountant General rather. Sorry for that slip of the tongue. Sorry for that.
No. If the Accountant General actually has given a delegated authority, somebody has to collect on his behalf. No, we don't have a problem with that. But what we want is for them to know that a particular party is collecting on his behalf. That is okay. It's up to him.
I think, Honorable Member, this is informed by the report. Members were told that collections were done which the Accountant General is not aware of. Now, this resolution goes to say the Accountant General must take his responsibility. If he wants, he can delegate the responsibility to whoever he thinks fit. I think that's the purpose of this clause.
Nominated member.
Honorable nominated member, Kamara.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. My questions were in two folds. One was with regards to Section 165 of the Gambia Constitution, and the other one was with regards to the addendum. So the question is, because the resolution was supposed to take care of the current audit findings and the prior periods as well. So the question is whether the resolution here have taken care of those prior period audit findings as well, so that we can.
The resolution has taken care of
the prior period audit findings. That's what I'm asking the member for 𝒂𝒏.
Yes.
Yes, I think the Speaker actually has mentioned this on number 5. He referred to number 5, that the Auditor General report to the National Assembly and to the Inspector General of Police of cases of potential fraudulent activities. You know, this doesn't only include current audited accounts. Because they keep following up on prior audit, queries. So when they keep following up, if the thing still persists or insists, then they have the right to do so. So this is not only looking at current ones, but they're also looking at the following ups that they're doing with the previous years.
Honorable members, we're making our own resolution almost a debatable issue. And I honestly believe that the honorable member for Upper Salem has done a wonderful job to present this resolution. Yes, honorable member, I have seen your...
Thank you so much, Honorable Speaker. I just looking at Resolution 8, that the Minister of Finance and Economic Affairs must be part of the government grant negotiation and to be the recipient of all grant for and on behalf of the government. And I wanted to qualify it so that they can also report to the Parliament so that the committees can also monitor the implementation, reporting to the Parliament if that can be added.
Who reporting to Parliament? There are negotiations to be reported to Parliament.
The Ministry of Finance to report to the Parliament, to notify the Parliament about the grants that have been approved.
Honorable member, the Ministry will always give you details of the grants they have captured in their budget and their estimates and in a lot of other things. All that will always be presented.
Sometimes this is also done after the budget session.
Every grant that is negotiated, they will come and tell Parliament. That may be too tedious.
No, I think once approved.
Get this. There are provisions where Parliament should be informed at specific times of the government's revenue and everything. Parliament still deserves the right. After 2 months, you ask the minister to give you details of all the grants we have received. I think these things are well captured. Can we now move on to either reject either to reject is the mic playing games? To reject or let me put the question. 𝒂𝒏𝒔, I think your 𝒂𝒏𝒔, yes.
I just have an observation because looking at number 1, that all outstanding interest be retired by October 31st or 22. Honorable Speaker, this is very important. Before we go on rejecting or accepting, I think we need to look at it thoroughly. There are a list of names included here on the list of interest that we were given, and some of them are late already. I don't know whether the FPAC committee have also factored up that, because I have not seen them mentioning any issue of those that are late. So I don't know. Those that are late, there are names of persons who are already late, and there is a huge amount of money attached to them. So I don't know what we are going to do about that.
Honorable member, the statement is all outstanding interest retired by that date, by that time. If you are dead, we cannot state that. If you come to know that this one has not paid, this one is dead, this one has traveled, this one has this thing, but the request is all interest should be retired by that date. We know that some people are dead, some people have traveled.
Is it by the individual himself or the portfolio in which that person was handling? That is what I want to clarify, please.
I simply don't understand what you are saying. They are people, they are custodians of interest. And these people know those whom they have given the interest money to, and those who have not retired. They are being directed to tell them to retire this interest by this deadline. Honorable members, if we are going to continue, I think we can put aside this thing and await another time to look at it whilst we look at the corrections and debate over it. Honorable members, it has been moved and seconded that the Honorable Assembly do adopt the resolution of the National Assembly tabled by the Honorable Member for Upper Salem. Those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those not in favor, say no. The ayes have it.
Today is 29th. Huh?
Clerk, can we continue now? Can we proceed?
Motion. Motion on the adjournment debate. Be it resolved that this August Assembly do stand adjourned, signed, die by the Honorable Deputy Majority Leader and Member for All Yundum.
Honorable members, in accordance with provisions of Standing Order 54.1, I will now allow the Honorable Deputy Majority Leader and Member for All Yundum to move the motion for the Assembly to adjourn, sign, die. Before doing so, honorable members, I wish to draw the attention of the Assembly to Order 54.3 of the Standing Orders that no honorable member shall speak for more than 15 minutes during the debate, except that the Speaker may, at his or her discretion, allow the mover of the motion extra time for his or her reply. May I now invite the Honorable Deputy Majority Leader and Member for All Yundum to move the motion for this Assembly to adjourn, sign, die. Honorable Member.
Thank you so much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, in accordance with Standing Order 54, subsection 1, I beg to move that this August Assembly do stand adjourned, sign, die. Honorable Speaker, in moving this motion, I would like to give this Assembly a summary of what transpired during the third ordinary session for the period 12th of September to today, 29th of September 2022. Honorable Speaker, during the course of our deliberations, we considered and adopted records of votes and proceedings of the daily sittings of the National Assembly. Honorable Speaker, we had questions for oral answers, sessions with the Vice President and the following honorable ministers with regards to their various ministerial portfolios. His Excellency, the Vice President of the Republic of the Gambia, Honorable Minister for Agriculture, Honorable Minister for Interior, Honorable Minister for Transport, Works and Infrastructure, Honorable Attorney General and Minister for Justice, Honorable Minister for Local Government and Lands, Regional Government and Lands, Honorable Minister for Defense, Honorable Minister for Youth and Sports, Minister for Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology, Minister for Public Service, Administrative Reform, Policy Coordination and Delivery, Minister for Basic and Secondary Education, Minister for Health, Minister for Finance and Economic Affairs. Honorable Speaker, the following reports of our undermentioned parliamentary committees or delegations were considered and adopted. 1. Auditor General's report on the financial statement of the Gambia for the year ended 31st December 2019 by Honorable Minister for Finance and Economic Affairs, tabled on his behalf by the Honorable Minister for Public Service. Number 2. Consolidated report of the Finance and Public Accounts Committee, FPAC, for the period 2019-2021 by the Honorable Chairperson of the Committee, tabled on his behalf by the Vice Chairperson of the Committee. Number 3, report of the Gambia delegation to 4th Ordinary Session of the 5th Pan-African Parliament, held from the period 27 June to the 2nd of July 2022 in Midrand, South Africa. This was tabled by Honorable Alhaji Mbo, Head of Delegation. Honorable Speaker, this session also witnessed the tabling of two matters of the day by Honorable Member for Latrikunda Sabiji and Honorable Member for Nyanija on matters relating to the Banjul Road Rehabilitation Project and road traffic accidents in the Gambia, respectively, which matters were of national public interest. Honorable Speaker, the following motions were tabled, considered and ratified and approved. State of the Nation Address 2022 by His Excellency the President of the Republic of the Gambia. Number 2, motion of the consideration and ratification of the Convention on the Protection of the Underwater Cover, Heritage Paris 2021, by Honorable Minister for Tourism and Culture. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, this session also witnessed the tabling of the following bills. Animal Health Bill 2020 by Honorable Minister for Agriculture, tabled on his behalf by the Attorney General and Minister for Justice. Gambia Public Building and Facilities Authority Bill 2022 by the Honorable Minister for Transport, Work and Infrastructure, also tabled on his behalf by the Honorable Attorney General and Minister for Justice. Honorable Speaker and honorable members, I wish to, on my behalf and on behalf of both sides of the Assembly, to express gratitude to you, honorable members, for the excellent manners you have chaired this session. And equally, honorable members, the dedication, commitment, professionalism toward national duty. I have no doubt with this trend, the 6th legislature is on track to further shaping our young democracy in a strong footing, and indeed the governance mechanism of our beloved country. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, thank you, and honorable Speaker, I beg to move. Thank you.
Thank you, honorable member, deputy majority leader, and member for all Yundum. Any seconder, honorable members? Honorable member for Upper Salum.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I rise to second the motion that is brought to us today by the member for Olyundum, my own MP, and the deputy majority leader. And I would also intend to speak on the motion itself, Honorable Speaker. Now, Honorable Speaker, I'm just going to start with the Ministry of Finance, which is one of the most important sectors we have in the country. And again, I know the members of parliament here, the previous members and the current members, are aware of the issues raised by the previous Minister of Finance about the need to do domestic resource mobilization. And I think the same sentiment has also been echoed by the current Minister of Finance and Economic Affairs. And I think this is something really we really need to look from within to be able to do our own developmental aspirations. Honorable Speaker, I think in terms of domestic resource mobilization, I strongly believe there is a need for us to review our own policies that we have in this country. In as much as we want to create the revenue for our own development, I think we need to do self-assessment to see whether the policies that we have in place, whether they are fit for purpose. And the first one I'm going to mention is about the self-assessment by the Revenue Authority. Honorable Speaker, I think it's a known fact that many people across the world don't like paying taxes. So if somebody actually has the opportunity to assess yourself, I'm not so sure if you'll be really very honest enough to be able to pay what's actually required. So for me, I think the policy of self-assessment in terms of paying your taxes, I think there is a need to review it to see whether it really makes sense or whether it's actually fit for purpose before we look into the other areas. Another area, Honorable Speaker, if I may say, the same for domestic resource mobilization. That is on the special investment certificate that we give at the level of GAIPA. You know, for me, I mean, you know, you are given a special investment certificate to come and invest in this country. And there are requirements that you need to have. In terms of the level of investment you have to do, also the number of employment that you also have to create. But the thing is, are we really checking to ensure that those people given those tax havens are actually delivering based on what is actually required by the GAIPA Act? And again, to give an SIC to somebody that's bottling water in this country, or a supermarket, for example, for me, I don't see any sense in that. And that's why the reason I think there's a need to review our own policies just to ensure that it makes sense. Otherwise, we may find it very difficult to do a lot of domestic resource mobilization. And Honorable Speaker, the other one also is about the departmental self-raised revenues. You know, in most of the sectors actually, you have departments that actually raise their own revenue, and they also use the same revenue, and that will also taken up from their budget. But we must look at that. Are the collections really very efficient? Are the collections by these units really very effective? There are question marks. So why not the Minister of Finance take a look at that policy to ensure that revenue collection are actually centralized, so that they'll be able to put in place a lot of strategies to reduce the leakages of those collections. So for me, I think, Honorable Speaker, in terms of domestic resource mobilization, I think the key here is to assess ourselves whether the policy we have in place are really fit for purpose. Honorable Speaker, to move right along also is the issue of the state-owned enterprises. Most of them actually are created to be able to generate revenue for the government and pay dividend to the government. But what is actually happening? Most of them actually are not paying dividend. Does it really make sense to keep them? And here I told the former Minister of Finance here that, sometimes you need to, do the needful. It's going to be very painful. And he knows exactly what is needed to be done with the state-owned enterprises. And the current minister also knows the same thing. There are some that doesn't make sense to keep them. Either the government try to find a way of privatizing them, withholding or holding maybe a majority share, and we move on. And yet still, the management of those institutions must be left in the hands of the private sector, because government is not a good business person. Example, GAMTEL. Example, GGC. Example, GRTS. Now, Honorable Speaker, if you walk into the studios of GRTS, even though I know they do sometimes social services, I understand that. But we must put them on a path on self-sustainability. If GRTS is actually properly resourced, now you walk into the offices or the studios of GRTS, you think you are in a how would I call it again? In a car maintenance garage. You have broken equipment all over the place, and you are talking about the national broadcaster. What can we do as a nation to help them? To ensure that we put them on a path of self-sustainability. Because you see, these subsidies we are giving to these institutions is not going to go forever. And I'm sure the government, the Minister of Finance actually has started to feel the pain. Subsidies, you subsidize, yes, and yet still you give also those institutions that you give them money and you don't expect them to make returns. I think there's a need to critically look at, especially the state-owned enterprises, particularly GRTs, to see how best we can help them, to give them the right equipment they need, to ensure that we give them the right employees they need to be able to do marketing, to be able to provide service to the nation at a cost. We cannot continue to give them free of charge and expect them to deliver. That's not going to happen. So we must put them on a path of self-sustainability, and the same thing applies to the Gambia Ground Corporation. They have a new name, I cannot remember, but I think they also need to do that. But, the last time here, we were paying for loans because government was a guarantor of GGC. Government was a guarantor of NAWEC, and they cannot pay. And they come to Parliament, we give them money for them to go and pay. Now, we need to put them on a path of self-sustainability, because otherwise this thing cannot continue. We cannot keep giving them 300 million, 400 million, 1 billion every year, in and out, and then we say we need more money to be able to develop our nation. I don't think, Honorable Speaker, that's going to happen. Now, Honorable Speaker, that also moves me right along into the Minister of Tourism and Culture. I think this is the first time I will start in this Parliament to speak something about the Ministry of Tourism and Culture, simply because I was concentrating on the other sectors that directly affect my own people and to a great extent the Gambian population. Honorable Speaker, I think when we're talking about the domestic resource mobilization, I think the Ministry of Tourism, as well as the Gambia Tourism Authority, they have a big part to play in this thing. We are trying to sell Destination Gambia, where tourists will come into the Gambia and spend money. But if you are coming to the Gambia right now, what is actually bringing you to the Gambia here? What exactly is it? Is it just the smiling coast? Is it just because people are friendly? What exactly is it are you coming to the Gambia to do as a tourist, or to visit as a tourist? What exactly is it? So that tells me there's something we need to do as a country. And the Minister of Tourism and the Gambia Tourism Authority have a great responsibility to ensure that we create avenues where people can actually come and visit. And that takes me to the Kiang West National Park. I think the former member has mentioned this quite often. Honorable Speaker, we have this park that is almost 11,500 hectares. It has like 3 bolongs or creeks, if I may say. And this could be a very good place where government can actually make money. But we must invest in it to be able to generate revenue, to be able to generate, employment not only for the Kenkas, but even for the Badibunkas. But what exactly are we doing? We cannot leave this park to lie down like that. And then when tourists come here, the tour operator will take them to Senegal, Nyokolokoba, the Fatala Park, etc. And they come to Gambia. Destination was Gambia, but we take them from here and then take them somewhere else to go and visit those parks. Why can't we develop our own park here? I mean, sometimes, for me, I think is, and like I say, sometimes you got to run the country like a business. You invest and be able to get something else. And again, I think for me, the Kiang West National Park, I think if we are able to invest in it, in terms of animals, in terms of lodges, etc., etc., it can be attract not only international tourists, but even domestic tourism can also be attracted. So we need to do better in that particular area. And I urge the Minister of Tourism and the Gambia Tourism Authority to be able to do that. And again, you have these tour operators. Once they know, in fact, this weekend I was there with Honorable Cham and, and they were telling you things that we can do as a country to move this tourism sector forward. They told us clearly. And I was really surprised because we were there on this attire thing, and they were telling you really what we can do to help the tourism sector. And I think this Kiang West National Park is one that we really need to look at to be able to invest in it, either by the government or we look for PPP. Public-private, partnership we can do. But for me, I think let's government look at it themselves and let's have strategies and then see what can we do to be able to make sure that it can create employment not only for the residents of Kiang, but for the rest of the Gambia. Honorable Speaker, the last intervention I'm going to make on this is about health. In 2019, Honorable Speaker, and about 2020, I think I did mention about this. There's a killer in this country that people are not talking about. That is non-communicable diseases. It is killing, and we are quiet about it. It is no longer about HIV/AIDS. It is no longer about tuberculosis. But if you look at these cardiovascular diseases that we actually have, cancer or chronic respiratory disease or diabetes. Before, when you talk about this disease, actually, you only think about the combos on the greater Banjul area. But now go up country, where we came from. Any household you go, for the most part, I do not have any statistics to confirm that. But for the most part, I can give example from my own family. Anywhere I go, I have pressure. Diabetes also is the same thing. And I told the minister here the last time, I think that has directly to do with the way we live, the food that we eat, our inactivity, like physical exercise, it has to do a lot to do it. But we need to do more and educate the people for them to understand that your inactivity or the food that you consume has a direct impact with your health. And we need to do some kind of sensitization along those lines. And again, I've read one research, Honorable Speaker, where it's saying the leading cause of death really is the non-communicable diseases. In fact, if you look at all the communicable diseases together, you put together all of them, the non-communicable disease deaths are more. This is a serious matter. And it's an emerging health threat across the world. And I think Gambia must not be an exception. We must do all what we can do to try to arrest that. And Honorable Speaker, that takes me back to the kind of food that is imported into this country. The last time I was saying this here, same here, in same parliament here. I was sitting at a shop. I see a carton that says deodorized and decolorized palm oil. And they label it vegetable oil. Decolorized and deodorized. They remove the color and they remove the scent and they sell it as vegetable oil. That's the oil we are using in here. And even some of them, Honorable Speaker, the labeling itself is questioned. You can put a lot of question marks. And this the level of cholesterol, that is what is actually affecting us. But, we process our own, groundnuts and ship it out for foreign currencies. And because that oil is better than what we have. And some people claim that it's because it's expensive, that's why we don't sell it in this country. But then we import the oil that would actually kill us. For me, it doesn't make any sense. You take what is good outside the Gambia, then you bring what is bad for us, and yet still our hospital bills are going up because we have to buy more medication to be able to care our own people. For me, it doesn't make sense. I mean, I can understand we want to look for foreign currencies, yes. But how much foreign currency are we generating from that groundnut cakes that we are exporting? How much is it? Let's compare that with the Minister of Health budget itself. How much are we spending on medication? How much are we spending on building hospitals, clinics, ambulances, etc., to be able to care our own people? Because by and large, the food that we eat is a major factor. But there is no factory here or no office that's actually able to check whether these food are fit for human consumption. We just bring it. You have the label, cholesterol, this percent, whatever this percent, and then they put in the supermarket and they sell. And I think the reason why you see some non-Gambians dominating this, I would call it supermarkets, mini markets. Let's think about that. Let's find out why are they dominating that particular sector, mini markets and supermarkets. Why are they doing that? Let's check. Let's ensure the food that's being sold on the shops is of high quality. If you cannot sell it in your country, don't bring it to my country. And I think the Minister of Health again has a good part to play. Again, the last time I was saying whether the food quality, whether they're in the best position at the level of the Office of the Vice President, I'm not too sure, but I think that's something we need to look at. Whether them being under the Office of the Vice President is the best place for the food safety, I'm not sure. So we've got to look at that one as well. Because if you talk about food safety, which has a direct correlation with our health, I think that's something we really need to see. Whether they can be under the Minister of Health, I'm not too sure, but I think we got to look at that. And Honorable Speaker, I thank you very much, and I respect.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Upper Salon. Honorable members, it has been moved and seconded that this August Assembly do consider the motion for this ordinary session to stand adjourned, sine die. Those in favor, please say no. Please say yes. Not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. So, honorable members, whoever wishes to take part in the debate may do so by raising your constituency tag, and you will be recorded. I now invite the honorable member for Kiang East.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, in accordance with Standing Order 26.2, which reads, a member shall speak standing and shall his or her observation of the Speaker. A member shall speak standing and shall address his or her observation to the Speaker or Chairperson, subject to the approval of the Speaker or Chairperson. A member unable to stand conveniently by reason of sickness or infirmity may be permitted to speak while standing. Honorable Speaker, I would like to seek your permission.
Granted.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. This is the first ever adjournment debate since we assumed office in April, because I could remember in the second ordinary session, there was no adjournment debate. A motion was moved for the Assembly to adjourn, sign it, and without any adjournment debate, and the motion was carried, so there was no adjournment debate. So this today's adjournment debate will offer many of us opportunity to speak on issues that we think are relevant. Honorable Speaker, I would like to start by recognizing the presence of the Honorable Vice President, His Excellency Mr. Badr Diouf, and the Cabinet Ministers that are present here. Honorable Speaker, it has been a serious concern in the National Assembly because during the fifth legislature, adjournment debates were not well attended by ministers. But today, I think I am beginning to have the impression that the cabinet ministers are now beginning to respond to the call by the National Assembly members to be present during the adjournment debates. The adjournment debates offers us National Assembly members opportunities to inform ministers or cabinet ministers who actually make and implement policies so that they implement policies that reflect the wishes and aspirations of the people. We are, I think, closer to our constituents, our electorates than the ministers. So we are always with them. We know issues. We are au fait with all the issues that are affecting them. So if we have the opportunity to talk to them, and there is no better forum to do that than during the adjournment debate. And if we are beginning to see them responding to this call, I think they need to be commended about it. So our debate here, the issues that we are going to discuss, I hope they will take serious note of them, and when they go back to their offices, while they are making policies and programs, our concerns that we gathered from our electorates will be taken on board. Honorable Speaker, I would also like to inform the Honorable Vice President, because he sits here for the President of the Republic, that it has become a very serious concern to the Gambians about the presidential delegation when he travels. People are complaining that the delegations are too large. Given the economic status of the country is poor. You know, people are struggling with their daily lives, and people, if the president can go out with large delegations who are paid per diem and all sorts of payments, it's a serious concern. And I would like to inform the Vice President that when he sits with his boss, the President, I think they need to discuss that and try to reduce the size of the presidential delegation just to save costs. It's important. Well, there are certain engagements. Of course, we know he must travel, but when he travels, non-essential staffs, I think, should be left behind so that he travels with those ones whose services are needed, whose inclusion in the travels will add value to the state. Connected to that is the frequent overseas travels by state ministers. Well, when we talk here, Honorable Speaker, we do not talk on our own. We don't talk because just we want to talk, because we only talk to relay the information that is circulating in the society. And when we talk, this is why it is important for the state or for cabinet ministers to listen very carefully to us. Well, while we cannot stop ministers from traveling, because usually when they go out, they always come back with something. But sometimes you begin to wonder the frequency of the travels of some of the ministers. Sometimes you begin to wonder whether indeed they are doing it for the interest of the country or whether they are doing it for their personal gains, because there has been in the social media and everywhere, not just in the social media, in society, you know, people are blaming them for per diem hunting, which is not a good sign actually. Yes, while they must travel, their travel must be essential. They need to reduce the frequency of their travels, and two, they also need to report to Parliament. That is my own suggestion actually, because all these travel votes that are in the budget is the Parliament that gives them money to travel. And I think it makes sense, it is fair that when they travel, when they come back, at least they should report to Parliament some of the things that they have achieved during their travel and so on. In the Parliament here in the National Assembly, when committees travel, or when we send delegations out of the country, when they come, they report to us. Now, we don't want to give them money to be traveling everywhere only to come back without reporting to us so that we know actually what they are traveling for. This is going to help us in our budgeting so that we can see and know how we are going to appropriate funds for travel. And then, Honorable Speaker, another serious concern is the daily rising in the cost of living. People are suffering. Every day you go to the market, you are faced with a different price of commodities. Today you buy a particular commodity for a certain price, and the next day when you go, the price is up there, so that you don't know. So that it seems that somebody somewhere sits and sends a message to him in a WhatsApp group and say, look, increase the prices by this amount. I have a practical experience. In Brikama, in the morning, I wanted a crate of eggs. I went to the market, I went to the shop. The shopkeeper said he didn't have enough eggs. He had few eggs. Then I went to the garage. The next shop was closed. I went in. By the time I came back, the price of eggs, because I couldn't buy a crate, I wanted to buy 7 eggs. By the time I came back, the price of egg was increased by $1. Imagine within the space of 30 minutes, the price of egg was increased. And this is the daily problem that people are facing in the market. And we have to understand that we are in a very, very, very poor country. People are suffering. People are barely making a living. And the number of people who go to bed hungry is increasing. The number of people who do not have 3 square meals in a day is increasing. So these are issues that we need to look at properly. So, Honorable Vice President, when you go, tell the President that people are definitely hungry. People are poor. People are hungry. And, very, very soon it will reach desperation level, because sometimes, it's difficult. People are just finding it extremely difficult to cope. People are hungry. Then, there is also a problem which is connected to daily rising cost of living. A country or a nation that depends for a greater part of its living on imported food is not secure. Almost all the staple foods in the Gambia we are importing. We are importing rice, we are importing onion, we are importing cooking oil, and almost everything. These are imported from other countries. Now, given the current global economic problem, what do you think is going to happen? This is something that we need to consider. So this is why it is important to, in addition to trying to make living easy for people, I think it's also important that we try to develop our agricultural sector. I think full self-sufficiency, we cannot continue to depend entirely on imported food throughout. It's not possible. So this is why it is important for the Ministry of Agriculture to come up with sound agricultural policies that would boost food production in this country, encourage farmers. Just before the beginning of the rainy season, we all know we had issues with fertilizers, and I think I stood here and said, well, given the current circumstances, then it was going to be a very bad season if farmers couldn't get fertilizers at the right time. So, well, thank God this year the rains are good, but I don't know what lies ahead at the end of the farming season, whether farmers are still going to have a good harvest because they didn't have fertilizer at the time they needed it. We are not even sure. But I think sound agricultural practices that would boost food production in the country should be seriously looked into so that we stop depending on imported food. If we have problems in countries where we import food from, we are in very, very serious troubles. Another issue I want to talk about is the frequent killings. Just a few days ago, I think just a few days ago, so at the beginning of the week, one of the honorable members raised a matter of the day, and he spoke about a certain issue, but this one is also an issue That is very, very serious, frequent killing. We've always had, in fact, it has become a weekly problem now. Barely a week passes by without hearing news of some stabbing or some killing. And usually, these are young people who do these things. So to the extent that sometimes I want to believe that maybe those who are committing all these crimes do so under the influence of drugs. I think for me there is a serious correlation between drugs and crime rates, especially killings. And this is why, and I want to urge the cabinet ministers responsible for security, and of course the vice president, because I think he's the chief minister here, to consult the relevant authorities and try to do something about drugs and crime. And then finally, my constituency, I am the member for Kiang East. Throughout the last 5 years, we have not benefited any development in my constituency. We have serious issues that need urgent attention. There are problems with our roads. The roads leading, the only good road in Kiang is the South Bank Road that passes to Jarasoma from Kombo. Apart from that, no other road in Kiang is good. You can't even call them roads, because those roads that connect villages to the main road are more of bus paths than roads. During the last 5 years, we faced this issue here. I talked about it in the National Assembly here. And I observed, and when I did, the then Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Roads and Infrastructure, consulted me and asked me to give him the total number of roads in my constituency that needed construction. I gave him an estimate of the number of kilometers, but I think he left that note in the National Assembly here. It never went up to the National Assembly, because after that, I have not heard anything about it. People are struggling on a daily basis. There are school children in the constituency who are traveling about 8 kilometers or even more to attend senior secondary school. There is only one senior secondary school in my village, in my constituency.
Honorable Member, you have made maximum use of your time. We now invite the Honorable Member for Jokadu.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for allowing me to partake in this very important debate. Let me first of all thank the Vice President and his entourage, that is the Cabinet Ministers, for attending this important debate. Honorable Speaker, first of all, I have to thank my electorate, that's the people of Jokadu, for electing me for a second term. Honorable Speaker, I'm very pleased to stand before you in this important adjournment debate. I will first of all start with the Minister of Health. The people of Jokadu are saying a big thanks to the Honorable Minister of Health and his technicians. Jokadu was only blessed with one health center since independence, but thanks to the Minister of Health and his technicians, we are also given another health center that is, the construction is on high gear in a place called 𝒂𝒄𝒄𝒏. The work is on the finishing stages, and then we are also blessed from the same ministry with a health post in Medina Mudum, which will kickstart soon, inshallah. Honorable Minister, when it comes to the community ambulance, we're still appealing. The entire Jokadu constituency consists of 41 villages, and we were blessed with only one community ambulance. And we really need another one. So we are appealing from the Honorable Minister if there is any consignment that arrives for us to be considered to have another community ambulance. Honorable Speaker, when it comes to roads, it's a nightmare for the people of 𝒂𝒂𝒂. I was here in the 5th legislature. I went up to the minister's office, that is the works minister, with a sketch plan of all the roads that connects the villages in 𝒂𝒂𝒂, particularly the feeder roads that were constructed way back in 1985, and they are completely dilapidated. They are not motorable, particularly in this rainy season. People are on 𝒕𝒕𝒕𝒑𝒔 throughout. Whenever it rains, what they have made is destroyed, so they have to come back the next day to be able to connect so that they'll be able to move from one place to another. And it's definitely a problem for the people of 𝒂𝒂𝒂, so we are appealing to the Honorable Minister for Works to consider in constructing back these feeder roads that were built in 𝒂𝒂𝒂 in 1985. The connections are as follows. The road connecting Kersele to Kerjen via Ker Amadou, it goes to Bali Mandinka, and then it connects Bali Ali Hawel to Dasilame. When these roads were in good condition, we were having a bus transport. By then, GPTC was having a bus in that route. But it is no more there because of the bad condition of that route. The other important connection also is from Kuntaya to Ker Amadou. That's the main connection that connects the southern part of the constituency to the main route, which is completely destroyed and it is not usable as we want it to be. There is another one also from Munyagain. It goes to the northern part where it connects Tambana, Karantaba, Bakang, and then it comes out to Darufodeba on the main route. We really need these roads to be taken so seriously by the ministry so that the people of 𝒂𝒂𝒂 also will be able to have good road network. There are businesses in the interior, in a village called Ker Alaji Malik. There are big business people there. But in this rainy season, they find it very difficult to transport their commodities to that place. What they will do now is the lorry will come up to Dasilame, they will offload everything, put it on horse cars and donkey cars to get it inside to that place, that's Ker Alaji Malik. And they sometimes have, give them very big problem because sometimes it rains and all their things become wetted and some of them become destroyed, particularly the cement. Honorable Speaker, electricity is also a concern for the people of 𝒂𝒂𝒂. Thanks to the minister, some villages have already been connected. Places like Kuntaya, Munyagain, and Dasilame has been connected. But we have another 15 villages that were surveyed more than a year ago, but still now the project did not start. So we are appealing to the minister to consider those villages so that they will also benefit from this electricity project. Honorable Speaker, when it comes to the Minister of Interior, we have a police station at Kerjen. Kerjen is at the border. And there is a Lumo, that is a weekly market that is going on in that place. And that police station, they are not mobile. They don't have mobility. So we are appealing to the minister to help us so that they'll be able to have mobility, so that they'll be able to patrol in that border. Honorable Speaker, it comes to Minister of Education. I have a community in my place called Munyagain. They have a basic cycle school. It was upgraded from lower basic to basic cycle more than a decade ago. But that school has only 2 structures. And in each of these structures, they have only 3 classrooms, making it 6 in total, from grade 1 to 9. So it's definitely a problem for them. And they don't even have a kitchen, no quarters. So I'm appealing to the minister to help us so that school also, structures will be added to make it easy for them. Because imagine grade 1 to 9 accommodating in only 6 classrooms for more than 10 years ago. It's a big challenge. So we're really appealing to the minister to do something in the soonest possible time so that he is able to address that burden. Honorable Speaker, Minister of Fisheries and Water Resources, I just want clarity. There are boreholes that were dug all over, and some of them are in my constituency. These boreholes were dug for more than a year now. They have been drilled, but they are just sealed there. So people are just speculating. We don't know what is happening. So I'm appealing to the minister to give me information so that I'll be able to tell my people what is happening pertaining to those boreholes that were dug and they are not yet completed still now. Youth and Sport, Honorable Speaker, the people of my constituency are appealing from the Minister of Youth and Sports so that they will be able to be blessed with a mini stadium. We all know that sports is very important, but the entire constituency does not have a mini stadium, and we are appealing to the minister so that we will be blessed with one. When it comes to the Minister of Agriculture, Honorable Speaker, we all know that harvesting has started for this season. People have started harvesting their goods. But the problem is they don't have storage. Storage facility is their problem. So I'm appealing to the minister for him to be able to revitalize the village seed stores where people used to gather their goods at the end of the rainy season, because most of them don't have their own stores at their compound level. What they used to do is to take it to the central seed store in the village where they will keep it for safety purpose. But most of those seed stores have been dilapidated and they are no more in good use. So I'm appealing to the minister to look into that so that these seed stores can be maintained so people can be able to use it so that they'll be able to keep their good seeds and goods in safe hands. On that note, Honorable Speaker, I beg to take my seat. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Jokadu. I now invite the Honorable Member for Lower Salum.
For giving me the floor, and thank you, Honorable Vice President and his cabinet colleagues, and thank you, Honorable Members of Parliament, securities, journalists, and so forth. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, also, I want to make this debate on the issues during our session which are not cleared by me, by honorable ministers. Honorable Speaker, I will also quote on the President's conclusions on the SUNA, if you permit me. The notion is that honorable members of the National Assembly have 3 functions to perform. That is, representations, legislation, and oversight. Your responsibilities certainly go beyond these 3. Honorable Speaker, if you allow me also to quote on the newsletter of the OB, that's Office of the President, that the Vice President, 𝒂𝒄𝒄𝒏𝒆𝒍, also telling his counterparts to come with swift measures to address the rising cost of living and security problems. The Vice President chose state business could not ongoing as usual. Note that the appointment as a cabinet members is not solved on issues and serve the interest of the Gambian people. Honorable Speaker.
Honorable, which document are you quoting?
Yeah, this is the newsletter of the Office of the President. Honorable Speaker, by an info to the honorable members and honorable ministers, we are in the together serving our people. The people of Lower Salm cannot sit in this one seat. I was trusted to be second time in Parliament, that to represent them as they expected. Not much, not 100%, but 69% of my presence should be the masses. Honorable Speaker, there are issues that I raised during the parliamentary business, that's in the plenary here. There is an issue of this Japanese rice, which I was not satisfied by the Honorable Minister on his answers. Honorable Minister, any member who has a oral question here is a life affecting our people. You've been a minister. We are not witch hunting each other here. We just want to make things right. Honorable Speaker, you are given a position or an appointment to serve the masses. Honorable Speaker, that rice belongs to Gambian people. I make my investigations. The 2 trucks that was out of country, which the answers doesn't satisfy me. 2 trucks were apprehended in Senegal's border, and whilst our people are crying for food sufficient. Again, there's the opportunity to clear doubts why that 2 trucks been to Senegal, when here a bag of rice is $1,700. And this grant comes through an aid of Gambian people to the masses to ease some sufficiency of food. So if we are seeing our own people selling our rice to Senegalese, it's unacceptable, Honorable Speaker. This rice comes to assist the Gambian people. In fact, you will not know, in fact, who are these buyers. Might be, in fact, the entire 2,800 tons. In fact, it can even evacuate to Senegal or Mauritania. Nobody knows. Maybe it's 2 trucks were apprehended. It might be more than that, in fact. Now, what is the responsibility? And in fact, the great mistake that he said, that the office of the president are there to give out the buyers. It's unacceptable, Honorable. This rice come through your ministry, and now you are in the office of the president. He caught. Now, what people will expect, that you are not doing the right thing. Already the rights come through your ministries. Give it to the people. You stand on your feet to see that you serve your people for a purpose. Just giving that rice like that, I said, I will not see those things happening. Then I keep quiet on it. And may I also underline this. Any question that was put by many ministers, a parliament knows it more than you do. You do your research before you come to parliament. Or you will just easily expose yourself. Because the minister doesn't know whether I know those trucks. In fact, I can even give the number plates of those trucks. We are here to represent our people. Honorable, this is not whether I am part of government or I am opposed. No, I'm representing my people. And the reason why the president, we all vote for the president, because we have trust and confidence. He cannot do it alone. We must help the president to move this country where he is expected to be. He's a man of wisdom. He can do it if we help the president to do it. He cannot be a president, being a permanent secretary, being a minister, being a national. No, he cannot do it alone. We have to help him to move this country forward. Again, we will see things and we will see it here. Whether it happens or not, but it will be in the records. We have to change the way things are going. Honorable, we expect you to serve us, and still you creating an avenue whereby it will hurt us. Because those rights comes to Parliament, to the Gambia, to help and assist the needy ones. In fact, it could have been cheaper price, because it's a grant. If this one is selling for 1,700 or 675, it can even go for $1,000. But where those monies, in fact, have been to, we don't know. Honorable Speaker, the second question was the Minister of Interior. The reason why I put this question of these FRABA issues, this is 4 years ago. You understand? And you still a statement telling us you are still investigating the issues. What are you going to investigate again? The matter is already investigated and pardoned. What are you going to investigate again? What? Because already you are new in the office. I agree with you 100%. But the records are there. The office of the IG is there. Read the message to them. A month ago, this parliamentary question was sent to me. How far with this issue? You said what has happened. That also will also help me and the citizen down there. But if you are trying just to cover a little thing in your office or just not to expose what is happening, it will not take this country to what? Where we expect it to be. Honorable. These officers are still half-paid salary, and the matter in court was accused and discharged, which we already follow. And those victims who were in it, the president sent a message to them, and the partners, everything was gone off. Now, why still these officers? We have to protect our officers, Honorable Speaker. These 6 officers, they are still unpaid. They are paid half salary. And none of them, in fact, is receiving more than 7,000, 8,000. Now, for instance, you are receiving 8,000. Half of 8,000 is $4,000. What 4,000 can do? A bag of rice, gallons of oil is finished. This can cause even to make the officers to act otherwise, unlawful. Honorable Speaker, we have to look on issues that is affecting our people, and we also protect our security officers. It's very important. Honorable Speaker, I have mentioned also the killings are many. Yes, I was. I don't know whether it is how to call it. These human rights activists or not. That I should not say it. But the reason why I say the killings are too much, and again, we are all seeing it. Not day to day, but within this month, we registered 7 of them who were innocent killed. So you being how to call it, a right advocate, or you said I should not say it. We will say it. We have to make a measures not to eradicate all what is happening, but also we equipped our security personnel. And the minister also should come with something, a budget allocation, whereby we also assist our men in uniform. Honorable Speaker. Let them also reconsider them. None of these police officers now are in a full comfort in that suit, because when there is a crime, you send an officer. He will also put it on his back of I will also reserve my safety first, because an armed robber who is armed, you send an officer there without no weapon, without nothing, he will save himself. In fact, he will run away after even the act. We have to save our police officers. I also challenge the Honorable Minister to put it in the budget, national budget. We support our people. All these vehicle issues, we put it there. We make an advocacy to see that these officers are well equipped, whereby to minimize the crime rate in the country. Honorable Speaker, again, I talked about the the rent issue in the country is alarming, which the Honorable Minister for Attorney General also set a light on it, which I was very happy that they are going to check on the act to see that to improve on the rent because of what we are paying on rent is huge, and the expectation from the salaries that is not that much. A house rent for $7,000, $6,000, and you are less paid. We cannot evac these corruptions. It must be. So we go for way balance, seeing things. When the rent is 3,000, maybe we can check on the salary scales also, whereby we can imagine both of them to see that the balance. If you cannot balance within 60-40, it will also help the civil servant. The last is yesterday the Minister of Basic and Secondary School. There is a bit of agreement on the budget line, on the maintenance and furniture and feeding. If the member is requesting for maintenance of schools, Honorable Speaker, there's a budget line for maintenance and furniture and feedings. Upper basic school, we have 3 million. Senior secondary school, we have 4 million. In fact, there are grants on it. Thank you very much. The time is finished.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Lower Salum. I now invite the Honorable Member for Nyanija.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. And then equally join my honorable colleagues to acknowledge the presence of the Vice President with all the cabinet ministers. This is a step in the right direction. Definitely, I am happy. Honorable Speaker, my intervention, I promise will not finish the entire 15 minutes, inshallah. I just want to talk about issues affecting the people that I represent, but first of all, let me thank them. And this is my second term serving as a member of parliament, second consecutive term for that matter. So I thank the people of Nyanija. Honorable Speaker, first of all, I will start with projects. It's true, we wanted development, and then development comes with its own challenges. But as the current realities are happening in Nyanija right now with regards to our roads, definitely there are some challenges. We thank the government of the day through the president, and also we thank the National Assembly for appropriating funds for the construction of the Salum-Nyanija roads. But currently, definitely there are challenges because the workspace is definitely very slow, as we have to admit, I have to admit. And then this is causing so many problems. And then I think with regards to road construction, if you are constructing a road, you need to have a diversion, and that diversion needs to be perfect, whereas people can move freely. But as of today, if it's ready in Nyanija, with all my four-wheel, I cannot access there. Even horse carts, donkey carts cannot come out. Motorbikes is a problem. So it's a problem because the diversion they create is definitely very, very bad. Honorable Speaker, and then I think, in essence, if you are constructing road, all these things are part of it because I was part of the monitoring of government project committee. These are the essential part of road constructions. Diversions, safety issues with regards to roads are very important, and then I think these issues need to be taken up properly. The other aspect of it is the issue of culverts, that's waterways. This is also creating problems. Though we are the construction stage, and then we are making some consultations with the team there, but we are finding it very difficult here and there. There are two communities. When it rains, they flood entirely because the road is constructed, and they said according to their survey, there should not be waterway. And then we are the settlers of these villages. We have been there. We know all these waterways, and if we tell you, if we talk to you, you should listen to us. So these are all issues presently, definitely, that are disturbing us as far as that road construction is concerned. On the other hand, it's about road construction projects in general. Looking at it as a whole, be it the OIC roads project, the roads constructed through the national road funds. In my own view, I think all these projects, definitely, there are so much delays. And this I can attest to. When the president went out on tour, he himself, and I quote, he said he is not satisfied with the work, the rate the work is going. So definitely something needs to be done. I know from Parliament and also from the Ministry of Finance, we don't know where the problem lies, but the rate at which some of these projects are going is very, very slow. And something needs to be done and looked at. Because it's one thing to yearn for roads and you have good roads, but it's also another thing to make sure the time frame given to each of these contracts is fully respected. Honorable Speaker, moving on to access roads. This is an issue we've been talking about since the last legislature, and then I can even attest to my predecessors, the former NAMS for Nyanija, they used to talk about it, and even the current Deputy Speaker. This is access to rice fields within Nyanija. We are blessed with these fertile lands from the length and breadth of our constituency, but our problem is accessing these rice fields. And if we say access to rice fields, we don't say you construct a road you just put a gravel there from one village to where the water starts. That's not what we mean. What we mean is within the swamps, within the waters, how these women, how these men access this rice field is the problem. As far as I am talking right now, all villages, all communities within Nyanija, each of us is having a rice field. But most of these rice fields are abandoned now. When I was going to school by then in Nyanija, we don't know buying this rice 50 kilograms or what. We don't know that. It's just now this is coming to us. Before, if you take this rice there, they will tell you, something like that. We don't know this. But now it is rampant. Every household, every compound. If you don't have somebody sponsoring you with a bag of rice at the end of the month, definitely you will find ways and means of getting it. Because the rice fields are completely abandoned, not because we don't want to work or whatever, but we cannot access it. And at the end of the day, you work, these hippos and goose pigs come and destroy everything. And if you kill a hippo, wildlife will come. If you kill another animal, wildlife will come. So these are issues that definitely the government needs to help us and then put Nyanija as an example with regards to rice and rice cultivation. And also Salum. Honorable Speaker, moving on also, the issue of electricity. This is the Honorable Member of Upper Salom mentioned during the SONA debate. I think once and for all, we need to be recognized as far as electricity is concerned. We are the only two constituencies still now. There's not even a single electric pole. Nyanija and Upper Salom. When you talk about the Nyanis, the Samis, all this, you have communities that have electricity. But for us, it is completely not even a single community where you can find electricity. I think time has come, we start protesting and then even move up the State House and see what we can do about it. And then once this is provided to us, Honorable Vice President, I am appealing you make it at least a grace period of, let's say, a particular number of years, whereas electricity will be free for our people. Because we deserve that. We have been neglected for the past regime, and this regime comes still now the same thing. I understand the plans, I understand the programs, but the only thing that we can understand right now is you bring the poles and the electricity to our house. That's the time we can start clapping. But for now, definitely, and we are not happy, and then we will continue talking until we see that the difference is made. Moving on to another particular issue, that is the issue of Chairman Senior Secondary School. This is a school that was established since, and it was the only senior secondary school in Nyanija. But if you go to the school, honestly, you will have two minds. This school is, I can say, completely neglected. We thank the government and we thank the MRC Holland Foundation for rehabilitating some of the schools in Nyanija. Namely, they built a school in Sinchu Alsan, they rehabilitated Buduk, they rehabilitated Palele, and likewise they are building another primary school around Sinchu Umar and also Kayai. But the issue of Chairman Senior Secondary School is a problem, and then I think it needs special attention. The staff quarters are not in good conditions, and you don't expect to post teachers there, and you expect them to deliver good quality education while they don't have places to sleep. So it's a concern, and then I want the Minister for Basic and Secondary Education to take it up with the necessary authorities to see what we can do in that regard too. Moving on to the health center in Chairman. You know, it saddens me when I start talking about Chairman Health Center because I'm the chair of the National Assembly Select Committee on Health. But Honorable Minister, special attention needs to be given to Chairman Health Center. Chairman Health Center is, in fact, if you look at it, entire fence, the perimeter fence is all, it has fallen down. And then if you go to the health center, even the buildings, the ceilings within the wards have started dropping now. Electricity, another issue, because they have a standby generator that cannot be operational for 24 hours. Water, the same thing. So all these are issues that are affecting the Chairman Minor Health Center. And then I think the Minister, you and I know, we will take it up further than this, but definitely special attention needs to be given to Chairman Health Center. Moving on to the Ministry of Fisheries and Water Resources, definitely I have to thank the Ministry, both the former Minister and the current Minister. We say thank you, but we still need more. There are communities that are still without water. Communities like Jailan Bakadaji, they are operating a borehole since, and the borehole now it's old, it cannot serve the community, and the borehole is the one connected to their health post. So a borehole, which you know that it cannot even serve the whole community, and you expect it to serve the health center too. Sometimes the health center will be there for days without water. So it's a problem, and then I think it needs attention. That borehole needs to be upgraded, or we get a new one to serve these two communities. And these two communities are far, they're around the riverside. So, Honorable Minister for Fisheries and Water Resources, please take note of that, and then help the people around Nyanija, around that area. And then also Bati Jaha and Palele. These are also two other important communities that are not having clean, safe drinking water. And I think attention should be given to them too. Honorable Speaker, moving on to the Ministry of Health. When we talk about drugs importation, there are many types of drugs we are seeing within private pharmacies within the country. I know the Medicine Control Agency is mandated by law to be licensing people to be importing drugs and also opening pharmacies here and there. But I think this issue needs to be looked at seriously. Because I was just having a chat with some health officials. They tell me, just have a look. If you have some of these diseases and you have prescribed with some antibiotics, you go to this pharmacy, you buy, let's say, amoxicillin. You go to the other one, you buy another amoxicillin. Sometimes you see differences. We don't know which one is best because we import drugs, but we lack the capacity to test their efficiency and effectiveness. And then as far as this country is concerned, and if we want to move on in the right direction, as far as health is concerned, we need to be thinking in that direction to have these equipments, up-to-date equipment, to be testing whatever that is being imported to this country. Whatever that our people are going to consume, be it medicine, be it food, we test them to the best quality and we give it to our people. Because we cannot just be importing from every Tom, Dick and Harry. You have lancing, you are giving lancing, you import, and so on. Definitely that needs to stop, and then I know it's involved, it might involve resources, but I'm employing on the entire National Assembly member to, if such issues come here, please let's support it, because it is for the welfare and good of our people. Honorable Speaker, the Honorable Member for Upper Salem talks about an issue that is very, very important. That is the rising surge, the surge in the rise of the NCDs. But just to let you know, under the Ministry of Health, they have the NCD unit under the Ministry and under the Health Education and Promotion Directorate. But I think special attention needs to be given to that unit. NCDs are on the rise, whether we like it or not, because of the foods we eat and because of the lifestyle and so many other factors. It is definitely necessary for the minister. I know they have their NCD strategy, their NCD plan and so on, but what is lacking is people don't adhere to some of these causes of these NCDs. And then it is incumbent upon the ministry to make sure everybody knows, if you do this, you are at risk of getting NCDs, if you do that, and so on and so forth. We need to concentrate on that, sensitize the people, tell them what to do and what not to do, so that we can control the rising surge of NCDs. Honorable Speaker, in a concluding remark, and then I will just thank the President for delivering the SONA, and he made mention of very important things and even urged the Assembly, being it on the government side or even the opposition side, we are all here as stakeholders, and then we all have a stake to play as far as the nation is concerned. Let us support one another, and then we move the agenda of the country forward. It does not mean that I come from a government party, I will not stand here and criticize the government, no. When the government does good, I will talk, and when they does bad, I will talk. So it is incumbent upon all of us, being it in the opposition or in the government, if issues of national interest come here, let us look at the interest of the nation. Because the presidents have highlighted that, and he has given us that leverage to talk, criticize, do whatever. So the ball is in our court to do the right or the wrong. For him, from his part, he has done his part. So thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, and then I beg to take my seat.
Thank you, Honorable Member for Nyanija. You have convinced me, and I am in sympathy with you, that it only two consequences without electricity. And honestly, Opanyomi, Nyanija, Janjambure, and Nyamina Dankunku are the landlocked consequences. Meaning you are very Gambian, you have no border with Senegal. And I think we should recognize you and try to get you something. Where? Sami. Say Sami. I said Opanyomi, Nyanija, Janjambure, and Nyamina Dankunku in the provinces. So, honorable members, I now move to the honorable member for Bakau.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I am going to be very brief. Through you, Honorable Speaker, I want to draw the attention of the executive of the high number of non-Gambians taking jobs that could be occupied by our Gambian youth, especially our young Indians. They are taking jobs that could be occupied by our own Gambians, of which I feel is not fair on the side of the executive to give a blind eye on it. Again, according to my research, you go to Coco Ozone Resort Hotel, I was told that all the department heads are non-Gambians. Are these showing to us that we don't have capable Gambians who can head departments like gardening, driving, maintenance, and even tailors are being hired from outside the Gambia? Where is the justification? And these employees are called expatriates. With the Select Committee on Tourism, I'll give you an assignment to Honorable Speaker to find out during your oversight function whether these employees are paying expatriate fees. Honorable Speaker, this is an insult to Gambians. Where an entire management are controlled by non-Gambians. This is serious, and I will describe it as an insult to us. You go to front office, it's headed by a non-Gambian. You go to F&B, it's headed by a non-Gambian. You go to housekeeping, it's headed by a non-Gambian. I've indicated earlier that even a tailor is being ordered from outside Gambia. Honorable Assembly members, where are we heading as a Gambian? The executive is showing a blind eye to so many issues which should not be condoned. Honorable Speaker, through you, I am urging the executive to put a stop to this, because you have decent Gambians, qualified Gambians, dedicated Gambians who are able to handle these positions, instead ordering so-called expatriates to the country. And it's even questionable whether they are paying their expatriate fees. Honorable members. Honorable members of the Select Committee on Tourism, through Honorable Speaker, I am giving you an assignment. Honorable Speaker, for the past 2 years, our tourism has been hit by COVID-19, which affected so many lives in the country, including ourselves. And again, we have few weeks before the beginning of the 2022-2023 tourism season, we had an announcement from flight operators that they are ceasing operations in the country for the simple reason that the tax that they are being asked to pay at the airport cannot be sustainable. This means the forthcoming tourist season is not promising. It will keep our youths unemployed. Honorable Speaker, what is the executive doing about this issue? You have hundreds of your youths going home without employment. How do you expect your youths to survive? And when we say tourism, we're saying something that is very serious, because most of our citizens have their living out of tourism. Because we have vendors who will be working, who will be sitting at home without having sales. We have our guides who will be sitting without jobs. Even the tourist taxi drivers will be sitting at home without employment. Honorable Speaker, this is a serious thing for the nation. Honorable Speaker, through you, I want to ask the executive whether we are safe to live in the Gambia. Are we safe, honorable members? I'm asking this question, honorable members, because robbery and murder cases are becoming order of the day. Honorable members, honorable Speaker, are we safe? I want an answer on are we safe? Yes. Okay. That's fine. Thank you very much. Honorable Speaker, I'm asking this question because robbery is becoming a daily event. Even if you are not witness to it, you heard it on newspapers every day. Same thing applies to murder cases. Just recently, 2 murder cases happened in my constituency, Bakau. One happened in a private resident, where she was attacked in her own residence and got killed. Are we safe, honorable members? If you are attacked in your own residence and got killed, where is our security? Honorable members. Honorable Speaker, in my conclusion, Honorable Speaker, corruption is also becoming order of the day. It's been revealed by audit report, and recently a report tabled before us by our FPAC committee. Corruption is becoming an order of the day, and the executive is giving a blind eye to this, which is serious, honorable members. Are we encouraging corruption? I will say yes, because we have seen or heard officials from the public service, from our public finance institutions, public institutions. We have seen corrupt officials being promoted from higher office, even if they are caught red-handed. Does this mean that we are discouraging or encouraging corruption? My response is we are not discouraging corruption, but we are encouraging not even corruption, but looting. Honorable Speaker, with these few remarks, I thank you very much for giving me the floor.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Bakau. Honorable members, it's coming up to 1400 hours, about 2 minutes to. I'm suggesting that we break off for 1 hour to go and have lunch and pray. And by 1500 hours, we will resume. I want to prevail on all of us to make sure that at least by 1500 we are able to begin. The House now stands suspended until 1500 hours.